Welcome to Behind the Crown Podcast with your hosts, Brian Hudson and Josh Griffin. Sit back and enjoy these great stories and memories of the Kingsmen Quartet.
Welcome to this episode of Behind the Crown Podcast with your hosts, Josh Griffin and Brian Hudson. Brian, how you doing today, sir? Good to see you.
I'm doing great, Josh. What's going on with you, man? You looking good?
I'm doing good. Just working and enjoying a little bit of cooler weather. Kind of sad about the Bulldogs losing Saturday to Alabama. I know all our Alabama Kingsmen fans, but we'll meet them again and maybe we'll win this time. But anyway,
well, it'll roll around again, So there's always hope, right? There's always hope.
Always got to have hope. Yeah.
Well, in case you're joining us, this is the Behind the Crown podcast, and this is dedicated to the message and the men and the music of the mighty Kingsmen Quartet. Kingsmen are celebrating 70 years in 2026, and we dedicate this podcast to them. And if this is your first time joining us on the podcast, go back and watch the earlier episode. Yeah. We've interviewed several Kingsmen alumni, a couple of current members. We've got a great schedule lined up for the next several weeks of guys we're going to talk to and some special things. We want you to be a part of that. So thank you for joining us tonight. But before we introduce our special Kingsmen alumni, Josh, do we have a piece of useless information we love to share with the world? And we've been getting a lot of cards and letters sent to the office and Pony Express riders and little birds on the wing bringing little notes to us saying, what's the piece of useless information we're going to have this week? So, Josh, lay it on us. We want to hear some useless information.
All right. Lions often gorge themselves to the point of immobility. They eat so much, then afterwards they get so full they cannot move. I know you probably know. Well, I won't say that, but anyways,
I know several Kingsmen members.
I did that a few times.
Yeah, our current guest did that a few times. Yeah.
Well, when you're riding down the road in the bus at night, now what else you gonna do?
If Ray Dean had some nanner pudding, he gouged himself on some nanner pudding on occasion. He has been known to do that for sure.
Oh,
well, that's a great piece of information, Josh. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about this on every episode, or just about every episode, that most people, especially men, have lots of useless information in their brains. So we want to add. We just want to bless the people. We want to be an encouragement to people and give them more useless information they can use somewhere down the road. So, but all right, Josh, go ahead and introduce our special Kingsmen alumni for this episode.
Yeah, tonight we have a great guy, great piano player. I remember him from years ago when I first met him with the Kingsmen, and I tell you what, he's gone on and done some great things now and in the world of gospel music and also just music in general. From Alderson, West Virginia, Mr. Cody McVey.
Cody, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How you guys?
We're doing great.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, we appreciate you joining us. We realize your time is very valuable. You've got family and you're in the studio probably all the time, and so we appreciate you taking a few minutes and talking with us. And I don't know that I've called you Cody 5 times in your life to your face.
No, I don't think so. Usually it was boy.
Yeah, I usually called you boy. And
what else? No, it was usually boy.
Yeah, you the boy.
Occasionally dad.
Yeah, that's true. I call you dad on occasion. Well, I was trying to think today before, get ready for the podcast. I think the first time I remember meeting you was a church in West Virginia. It was a Sunday morning, I'm thinking, and you were there. I think you and your mom, I don't know if your dad was there or not, but I'm pretty sure your mom was there. And I think you did a couple songs before we got up there. And I don't know if you played that morning. Would you remember that? You remember that back that far?
I don't remember yesterday's breakfast. What I think it was in West Virginia. I know that. I think that it was the Alderson in my town had a 4th of July event.
Okay.
And they had a gospel singing. I don't remember if it was on a Sunday morning and then a Sunday night but I think it was that, which would have been around 2008.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. So how old were you then? I was trying to think.
I was 17 at that point.
Yeah, I was right, Josh. We were talking before the podcast started. I thought you were 17, but anyway. So our first question we ask every Kingsman alumni, our current member too, kind of take us back a little bit to where your love for music started. Like, how old were you, when you started playing, or you developed your love for music? How old? Give us kind of a rundown of where it started for you.
Well, I was kind of late coming to the game. I didn't start playing till I was 11. And
Okay.
then it was my grandmother had an old upright piano. She played, but I don't remember ever even seeing her play, maybe once or twice in my whole life, but she had it. So when I was there, I would noodle around on pick around. And
Okay.
she said one day, if you'll take lessons, I'll pay for them.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I didn't have that much interest, but I thought, okay, I didn't have anything else to do.
Yeah.
So I went and picked it up somewhat quick. And then I guess probably about a year later, year or two, I knew I liked it, but I didn't have any inkling that I would ever do anything with it. It was just a hobby.
Yeah.
And then my parents came across one of the Gaither infomercials.
Okay. Yeah.
And they had bought some VHS tapes. And the first one was featured Anthony Booker, playing a bunch of solos on it. I think it was a Mark Lowry video in New York.
Okay.
And he played Just a Little While, Meeting in the Air, I think was the first
Yes,
song.
I remember that.
And I remember hearing that, and that was the moment where I went, oh, I want to do that.
Wow. Okay.
And so I would have been 12 or 13. So I started getting serious at that point.
Wow.
And so, yeah, my whole musical journey really started out because of another Kingsman alumni.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, I know Berger inspired a lot of musicians.
Yeah,
he sure did.
And not just Kingsman guys, but we were talking about that earlier. We're going to try to do a special tribute episode to Berger here in the future. And so, we might even call you back and let you talk a little bit about Berger and what, kind of what inspired you to do that. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
To do it.
Cody, talk about how you come to know the Kingsmen and how you auditioned for them to get the job with them.
Well, let's see. If I remember right, I mean, I'd always kind of wanted the job because of I knew that's why Anthony started. I'm a 17-year-old kid. I thought, well, if I want to do what he did, then I need to do what he did.
That's true. Yeah.
Which is go play for the Kingsmen. Now, they were not looking because I think Suchi had left.
Yes, he had.
And they really were not looking for a piano player.
Yeah.
As I recall. And I had started playing for another group in the summer of 2008. Just right before you guys came down to West Virginia.
Right.
And I remember, I want to say it was Phil said that, because I played a couple of songs or whatever, and Phil said, if you ever decide you want to, I remember that the way he said it, if you ever want to be with a real quartet, give us a call.
That sounds like Phil.
Yeah. And now, of course, Phil didn't have any authority to hire me, but he's.
Yeah.
So I remember that well. And so I stayed in touch with them, and I don't even remember how I got Ray's number, but anyway, I was with that other group, and it only lasted about 6 months before they stopped traveling.
Okay.
Didn't get fired. They stopped traveling. And so then I thought, well, you know what? The heck with it. I'm going to call Ray.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't think he knew who I was when he picked up the phone.
Yeah, he probably did.
But he, as I recall, I said, you might remember me. I played yada yada in Alderson, West Virginia, and he said, "Oh yeah." I said, "Well, you said something about a job, and here I am, and I don't have one. So if there's any opportunity to play with the Kingsmen, I'd love to do it."
Yeah.
He said, "Well, come on down, and just hop on the bus."
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought, well, I mean, that's an opportunity. I'm going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was New Year's Eve of 2008.
I think that's right. Yeah, that sounds about right.
And I went, and it was a long audition because I don't think that I got the job until well into the spring.
That's a long audition. Yeah.
I remember that time pretty well, thinking, is this ever going to work? Are they ever going to?
Yeah.
And looking back now at where my musical level was then, I'm amazed that they asked me to come back the second week, let alone take the job. So I completely understand why it took a while.
Yeah.
And I think it was like April or May, maybe when Ray finally said, "Well, if you want to do it full time, come on."
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think I was traveling every week up until the
Yeah.
spring. Yeah.
I think you were, because I remember you kept you I I remember Ray calling us that day and say, "Oh, by the way, Cody's going to be riding the bus." Oh, okay. And and so you showed up that night, and you got on the bus, and you started riding with us, and uh, you just jumped right in there. So
Yeah.
there was no really, because Nick Succi had left, and Grant Barker had left, so we didn't have any musicians, and so when Ray just said, "Oh, by the way, Cody's going to be riding the bus," okay, well, cool. So you
Yeah.
jumped up there, and you fit in with all of us. I mean, you were a lot younger than us, but you fit in with us, and you were as crazy as we were, and so it worked out great.
I remember it was I was kind of I don't know what the word would be. I was definitely gun shy for a while. I mean, because I was young and you guys were, what, 30s, late
Yeah,
30s, which to me you might as well have been 60.
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Um,
some of us acted like we were 60.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and some of you acted like you were 6.
that's true. That is true.
Yeah,
In the same breath,
yeah, and
same
yeah,
breath.
same
Yeah.
people.
Yeah,
So yeah, I remember, but it didn't take long for me to kind of get the gist of things and how everybody worked and
yeah,
what to do, what not to do. And,
right.
I enjoyed it. It was, I mean, it was during a very, very formative part of my life. And I mean, I think a lot of what I got of my character, certainly of my sense of humor, came from that era.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Those people, traveling with Phil and Harold is, I mean,
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
that's just comedy gold.
yeah, yeah. Well, and traveling, not just the Kingsmen, you travel with other groups too. You got to keep it light. We've talked about
Right.
that on these episodes with other members. You got to keep it light, because if you're gone 13, 14 days in a row, or you're going to the West Coast, and you did a couple West Coast trips with us where you're gone 30 days. And I mean, you got to keep it light.
Oh,
If you don't, you'll go crazy.
Yeah, yeah, and we nearly did, I think, on some of those West
Yeah,
Coast
yeah.
tours. We
And we didn't have far to go. So,
the Crawford nearly died, as I recall.
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
And
he did.
I think
He
we had to
did.
carry him out of the church, as I
We did. Yeah,
remember right.
he
Yeah,
had Randy Crawford
uh-oh.
had an episode one right. We
Yeah.
were setting up. We were setting up one afternoon or one evening, and he just kind of passed out and hit the floor, and you and Harold carried him out. I mean, and
yeah.
so
It is.
that was
Huh.
quite an episode. He had a hard episode. So,
Wow.
and then
Huh.
then you had to sing baritone that night.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah.
Which I think then happened probably a couple of more weeks while he was recuperating.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah,
You were trying
okay.
to sing baritone and play piano too, and
And I couldn't do either one very well, let alone together. It was horrible. It was fun, but
Yeah.
it was horrible.
well, the show must go on. I hate using that expression, but the show must go on. So you do what you
And
got to do. So
And it
Wow.
did.
How about
well,
that?
I here's some stats. So the first you joined us in was it 2009? I believe you joined us in 2009.
Officially, yeah, that
Yes,
first weekend out was the last couple of days of '08, but
yes,
officially,
that's
I think
true.
it was
That's true.
'09. Yeah.
Uh, you were on the Missing People album with us. Honor the Heritage Volume 3 we recorded in 2010. Also 2010 we did that live performance DVD from the Quartet Convention,
Yeah.
and you played that. That was little snippets from uh, our stand from 2010, the Quartet Convention. And then you were on the 2011 Grace Says album with
Yeah.
us.
Remember that one?
And then
I think that was the last one, wasn't it?
yeah, it was. Yeah. So Missing People, we had a #1 song, which was God Saw a Cross.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then from Grace Says, we had a #1 song, which was That's All I Need. He's Everything I Need. We had a #1 song from there. So mainly those 4 albums you were on.
While you were performing with the Kingsmen, did you have a favorite song that you like to play? As far as with the group singing, was there a particular favorite?
Well, we played so many. Um, one I always loved, and we played it. Gosh, I bet we did it about every sound check. Was "Plan of Salvation," but that's not a Kingsman song,
Right. Yeah.
And one I always liked when Harold did was "He's All I Need." Isn't that the one I'm thinking about?
Yeah, the Gary Shepherd song.
Yeah,
He's All I Need. Yeah.
I always enjoyed doing that one. I don't think we recorded it at any point while I was there, but that was one of those. Hey, what about, do you remember kind of things at a sound check, and then we did it that night.
Yeah.
I always remember liking that one, and When God Ran was a great one too. That's just a great song.
Yeah.
Mine always delivered it, had the testimony thing ever. That was, I think the whole tenure I was there, that was definitely the most requested song, I think.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Other than, everybody always wants to hear Glory Road and Beautiful.
Right. Yeah.
But of songs that any of us had been alive for,
yeah,
it was When God Ran.
Yeah.
That era.
Yeah. Well, and they're out there in the video world. There is a clip of you singing "I'm Winging My Way Back Home."
Oh,
Yeah, that was a Facebook question. Yeah. So let me ask you this. I'll butt in, Brian, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
How did that come about? That getting Cody to sing on "Winging My Way Back Home." How did that come about? Whose idea was it?
Well, I don't remember that. Do you? I don't. I mean,
yeah. We were in a church in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And you had talked about you wanted to sing a little bit, and so there was a piano player, James Nail.
Mm-hmm.
He was a piano player,
Yeah.
and I knew he knew how to play that song, and so I said, James, come up here. We're going to get Cody over here, and we're going to do "Winging My Way Back Home." And we made a little comedy skit out of it,
Yeah.
And it was a little funny thing we did, and we didn't do it very often because we didn't normally have a piano player, because I wanted you to stand up and sing it,
Yeah.
And so you would sing the baritone and you'd mash it, man. Every night you'd do it, you'd mash it. So
it wasn't any good, but it was loud.
Well, the Kingsmen are known for not so good, but it's loud,
Big and loud.
Well, Josh asked you what was your favorite song. Did you have a least favorite song while you were there? And if I'd call it, you'd say, that song again, or anything particular that kind of stands out as your least favorite?
Gosh, I don't remember ever thinking that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I guess is a good thing.
Yeah. We asked
Yeah.
Bob Sellers that question. He didn't have a least favorite song. So yeah, that's okay.
But yeah.
Well, you didn't have a least favorite. So tell us, what was your favorite thing about actually being on the road?
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite thing about being on the road?
Well, it was, that time, at that time in my life, because I was young, single, I could be out on the road for 300 days a year. It didn't matter, because
that's true. Yeah.
home. So I liked the camaraderie of it. We all got along well, I think, most of the time anyway.
Yeah.
And, because I hadn't had a lot of that in my younger years and in high school, because I was, I'm the Southern Gospel piano player in public high school.
Yeah.
That's not Mr. Popular usually.
Right.
So I remember that, and just meeting people all over the country and seeing so many the West Coast tours. They were always stressful, but just seeing all of the places that, I had never seen. I'd never been to California. I'd never been to Colorado or Texas or any of those places.
Yeah.
So just seeing all of that, and meeting people, eating. At that point in my life, I could out eat anybody. I never gained any weight. And I loved, now I think about it and go, boy, there's no way I'd do that. But I loved when we'd go and have potlucks at, those little churches, always in Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
Alabama was always the best food.
That's true.
And Louisiana.
Yeah.
Going to Skippy's mom's house.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Brian Sanders. Yeah.
Yeah.
His dad, remember that fish fry? His dad would always do a big, huge fish fry. And man, we would talking about the Lions, John.
Yeah.
We would gouge ourselves,
Yeah.
and we couldn't hardly move. We go to Brian Sanders' house.
Yeah.
It was a good days. Good day.
Yeah. That and getting to know, because I was not well connected at all with any of the people in that industry. And so we were doing singings with, basically everybody in business.
Right.
Getting to know these people that I'd only seen from album covers and, TV stuff. So
right.
that was a highlight too.
Yeah. That's right.
Awesome.
Cody, what was your least favorite thing about life on the road? I know, sure, probably bus breakdowns, but anything else?
Well, I mean, if you're talking about a specific incident, would have been we had a wreck.
Go ahead, yeah.
Yes,
You remember that back?
Yeah.
I remember the day because it was the day JFK was shot.
Yeah.
Not the actual day. It wasn't in 1963.
Yeah, you're right.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't remember what year it was.
I believe it was
Nine?
I think it was 2009.
Yeah. I remember dead of night. And I felt something wake me up, but it wasn't like we just wrecked. It was like, did we hit a bump? And then that lady, as I remember, she was quite injured. I mean, I think she ended up being okay, but her car was totaled and a wreck. So that was the least favorite thing. And I mean, it's the West Coast tours, those long, because we did 30, 31 days.
Yeah.
Those, that was a two-edged sword because there was some great things about them because it was fun to go out to these places that you'd never be at and meet these Big Al. I mean, that's worth the trip, meeting Big Al.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
That would be a guy I wish we could have had as a guest on the podcast.
Yeah.
That's
Because he could tell you more about the Kingsmen than any of us could.
Yeah, that's true.
So that would have been like some of the hardest things was just being gone 30 days, but at the same time, it was still fun.
Yeah. Well, and like you said a moment ago, we had to make it light, had to keep it light, and had to have fun. When you're gone, and it's basically if they can't fathom that, you just basically unplug yourself from your life for 30 days.
Yeah.
And you're gone, and so of course, thank the Lord for cell phones back then.
Yeah, but there wasn't any FaceTime.
Yeah.
Right. So there wasn't video calls or any of that.
No. And so you're in California and your family's in North Carolina or West Virginia, and you're 3 hours behind them. Mm-hmm. So when you're getting ready to go on stage, they're going to bed. Yeah. They're in bed. And so you're having to what I did, I never changed my watch. I left my watch on North Carolina time.
Yeah.
Because I would get confused because, as you work your way out to California, you're an hour behind, then you're 2 hours behind, then you're 3 hours behind. But if your watch always stays North Carolina time, that's how I would think, okay, I got to call Yvonne now because I'm thinking, I can't. And then as you travel back home, then your body catches up. But for the first 2 or 3 days, man, your body clock is messed up. Your sleep time is messed up. Right. And it takes you a while to get used to that. But those were fun times, but they were also difficult times too, for sure. Well, I'm going to ask this question and see if you can remember back this far. Kingsman fans are very loyal. They've always been very loyal, very supportive. But on occasion, they say some pretty funny or strange things to us.
Oh, yeah.
And was there anything you can remember from your tenure with the Kingsmen where you had somebody just come up and say some off the wall or funny or crazy thing to you?
I don't know that I remember. There were so many, it would be hard to pinpoint a particular one. I remember so many of them, though. At that point, especially in the earlier years, I had a little longer hair. So every night it was somebody complaining about my hair.
Well, you kind of had it down. I remember your first solo album that I remember, it was kind of combing down in your face a little bit. And so
I had the Justin Bieber thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Before Justin Bieber had it. And I thought it was cute. Looking back now, it's horrifying, but it was cute at the time.
Well, remind me what Ray told you the day you got it cut. Because I think I met somebody in Nashville and had lunch with a friend or something. And I came back to the bus to go to the venue. And all of a sudden you got a haircut. And I'm thinking, what happened? He got a haircut today. So
I can't remember what Ray said.
I thought he said something about if you're going out, get a haircut or something.
I can't remember. I know that he was all for it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he was never unkind or mean about it.
Right.
He always kind of picked on me about it, and so I think I knew that it was everybody picked on me about it. So there was always that. There was always, I played a lot with soundtracks, so they'd always come up and say, we just want to put the soundtrack away, just sit down and play the piano. They did.
Yeah.
But the funniest ones were always the people. It wasn't necessarily directed at me, but they would ask for, they'd say their favorite singer was Big John Hamilton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And little Ernie Phelps.
Yeah. I remember that little Ernie Phelps.
And they'd ask, how's Eldridge Fox doing these days? And Fox had been dead for 10 years.
Oh yeah.
And Hamill had been dead for 5 years.
Yeah.
And those crazy when Jesus runned, those, they come up for ask when God ran. When Jesus run.
Y'all can do that song "When Jesus Run." Yeah. Well. And usually, whatever they said, I usually would repeat it back to them. If they mispronounced something wrong, I would say it right back exactly the way they said it.
Hoping it jog something in their mind, but maybe that's not right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they never knew. I don't think they even.
I never knew.
And it was usually the ones that wanted to convince you how well they knew the group.
Yeah.
Right. And always.
And before they would ask the question, they would tell you, how long they had been friends and how close they were with these Kingsmen members. And then they would ask the name and mispronounce it or totally get it nowhere close to being the real name. Yeah. Then you say, oh, you really do know them then.
Yeah. Oh, I remember some, they'd come up and how they'd been watching Kingsmen for 50 years. And then even back when George Yance was singing with
Yeah.
So that was the funniest. I mean, being around Harold and Phil and Brian too, who I got a lot of my sense of humor from.
Yeah.
But the endless comedy of people. Because they didn't know they were being funny. I mean,
yeah.
And we had to try to keep it together when they'd ask something stupid.
Keep following the Kingsmen Behind the Crown podcast for more great interviews like this one.
Oh, that was funny, man. It was a good time. Good time.
That's great.
Well, Cody, if you could choose a certain group or an artist to play a song with, if you past or present, somebody living or past, if you could pick a certain group or certain artist to play a song with, who would you choose?
Well, I don't know that I would say playing because my career has taken me so far from playing now.
Okay.
Arranging and orchestrating and producing. Without a doubt, though, that answer would be Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
I think if I could arrange for anybody, of course, obviously he's been gone for a long time, but that'd probably be the one. And I was always a huge Cathedrals fan too.
Yeah.
So that would have been great.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir. Cody, any particular musicians or singers that inspired you or your playing over the years that you can think of?
Well, Anthony, of course, was the first one.
Right.
And then through Anthony, I heard about Larry Goss. I saw his name in some album on an album Anthony did. And he ended up being a huge inspiration to me. And I ended up working with him and studying with him for the last few years of his life. So he would be another. Gerald Wolfe was another piano player who I still think is one of the finest that gospel music's ever had. He was always an inspiration, and just getting to know him as well. Jeff Stice was great to me, and he helped a lot. I remember going over. I think Ray may have worked it out, if I remember, because I was struggling a little bit. If I knew a song, I'd be okay. But if it was, hey, we want to do a song that I kind of had heard it, but I didn't know how to play it, that was a tough spot for me. Yeah. And just sitting down and playing, the quartet style, I just really was not great at it. But Ray was patient about it, so he connected me with Jeff Stice. I went over to Jeff's church, and I remember, getting some lessons from him on quartet play.
Okay.
So yeah, he was a big inspiration too.
When did you know that gospel music was something that you wanted to do when you was touring with the Kingsmen?
Well, I knew I wanted to do it even before that. I mean, when I saw the Anthony Berger video, him doing his thing, I knew, and I didn't know anything about it except that, but I knew at that moment, at 12 or 13 years old, however it was, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And it just never really changed. My career path changed,
Right.
but my desire to do it never really did.
Cody, I'll ask you this. Did you play in church a lot too when you was coming up as well after that?
A little bit, not a ton.
Yeah.
I was not like a every Sunday.
Yeah.
It was more like I would go play specials at different churches,
Gotcha.
do the
Yeah.
solo kind of thing. So I didn't do a lot of accompanying at
Right.
church until I left the Kingsmen, and then that became my job.
Well, Cody, was there a special moment? If I'd ask myself the question about one special moment where God really showed up at one of our concerts or our services, it'd be hard for me to pinpoint one. Would there be one you can remember where God just really showed up?
One I do remember very well. I don't know that I remember where it was.
Okay.
I want to say it was in Georgia. David Ring was there. You remember that?
Yes, I remember that.
And I think we only were with him one time, so it would have been that one time. And hearing him preach, I didn't even know who he was. Of course, anybody that doesn't know, he's got cerebral palsy,
Yeah.
but was a preacher.
Yeah.
Still is, I guess. I haven't heard anything from him for a while, but and I don't even remember specifically what he preached about, but I remember being particularly moved in that particular
remember that.
service and convicted and challenged for sure.
Yeah, I think at one point he was saying something, and he said, he looked down at the audience. And he said, "Will you hand me that drink there?"
Yeah,
One guy stood up to go hand him a bottle of water, and then he said, "How come he said, how come this guy's the only one got up to help him?"
Wow.
And he did that for a reason.
Yeah.
See how many people would stand up to try to go and help him. I don't remember a whole lot about the rest of the service, but I remember that part of it.
That would be the part I remember as well. And then I think we hung out with him. I don't know that he did, but his son, I think, came and hung out with us. I guess he knew Harold and Phil or something.
Probably so.
And so
Yeah.
I remember hanging out with his son and getting to know him later
Yeah.
on that night. That was fun. But I remember that well.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a great night for sure. And I think God moved a lot of times in our services, and there were times where we tried our best to let him lead, and there was really some God moments, of course.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question. A lot of people that are watching the podcast know that legendary bass singer Ray Reese has slowed down considerably from traveling. He doesn't ride the bus all the time. I know he was on a bus a few weeks ago at the Quartet convention. But how was it from your standpoint of traveling with such an iconic person as Ray Reese?
Well, I knew he was iconic, but he was almost like a second father to me at that time.
Yeah.
Because I was living down there on my own.
Yeah.
He had found me a place to live, $500 a month. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Now, and it was just a mile or two from his house. So I was when we were home, and we were only home 2 or 3 days a week. Sometimes I was over at his house, going to the Mexican restaurant with Ray.
Yeah.
Cheese dip. So
yeah, he loves some cheese dip.
Yeah, he was like family. So it did. I knew he was an icon, but it just felt like I'm hanging out with my dad.
Yeah.
Well, do you have a funny Ray Reese story that you want to share? Something, because I've said a million times on these podcasts, he was funny. He didn't mean to be funny. He was just funny. He didn't realize how funny he was.
Yeah, I don't know if I remember any specific instances, but some of the times when he'd get his words twisted on stage, when he was doing the product pitch, would be hilarious, and he didn't even know he'd done it. It was we'd be up there trying to keep it together, and that guy ate more cheese dip than.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He loves some chips and some queso dip, man.
We would find the closest Mexican restaurant to every hotel we stopped at, and we'd go have chips and cheese dip.
Oh yeah, man. He'd have it running down his chin.
Yeah.
Cousin, you need to wipe your chin there. Get a little cheese dip on your chin. Yeah, one night I don't know if he was with us or not. The night he was talking about Rex Nealon. He and Rex Nealon kind of grew up together, went to singing schools together, and he was on stage, and Ray just said, uh, what he meant to say was, I want to say a little bit of trivia for you folks to tell y'all some. He said, I want to tell y'all something trivial instead of trivia. And he says something about Rex Nealon. I'm thinking, no, Ray, I know you meant to say a piece of trivia instead of something trivial, So yeah, he would oftentimes get his words mixed up, and that was some of the funniest moments for sure.
He was a hoot to travel with. One thing I remember, I hope somebody's told it if they haven't. I don't remember where we were, but Randy Crawford was with us. Remember,
Yeah.
Hudson would remember this. And we went out, we were on stage at a church, and the lights were on and everything. And I don't know how many songs in we were. We were several songs into the set, and I got to looking at Crawford, and I thought, something looks off.
Yeah.
Got to looking closer, and he had put on his blue suit pants with his black jacket.
I remember that.
And had no idea.
Yeah.
So I see this. We were hard on each other about dressing back then.
Oh yeah,
We
yeah.
were very particular about what goes with what and what you can wear and what you can't wear and all.
Right.
We kept up with it, and I just was trying to hold it together. So I was pointing. All the guys would look at me, and I'd point at Crawford, and I guess he even knew it happened until afterwards.
He didn't know. He had no clue. He had no clue.
Oh,
well,
man.
there were times I'd get on the bus and Ray would be standing watching TV with a cowboy boot on, and then he'd taken one shoe off, one cowboy boot off, and put on a different shoe. And so he was standing there with the cowboy boot on and a regular tennis shoe.
But the movie had gotten interested, the Western, because, Westerns is what he.
Oh, yeah,
now,
man.
Now I'm turned into Ray because that's about all I watch.
Yeah.
Back then, I didn't have any interest in it. But
yeah,
he's something that happened on the Western. John Wayne had done something captured his attention. And there was one cowboy boot, and sometimes a shirt half on, half off.
I'll mention this. I remember one time in Albany, Georgia. Brian, both of y'all were with the Kingsmen at the time and just finished up at a church there in Albany. And Brian, you got me to come on the bus, just where I see the bus, as a fan.
Yeah.
And I remember walking on the bus and Ray sitting there in that first little table booth or whatever.
Yeah.
Had his book open, had two pairs of glasses on. I was like, what? No,
yeah.
I just always, I was like, yeah.
That was his bifocals,
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd have one there and then one hanging down on here, and have two pair on. Yeah.
And had the TV wide open blaring.
Yeah.
He probably knew what was going on everywhere. Yeah.
He'd either be watching the Golf Channel if they weren't playing golf, he'd be watching the Western.
Yeah.
And he loved to Have Gun Will Travel. He loved Bonanza and Gunsmoke and any John Wayne movie. And I mean, he'd stay up all night long and watch those crazy shows.
Yeah.
That's right. Cody, most everybody is aware now that you're leading and producing sessions has been for several years. How'd you get involved that area of the business of the music?
Well, when I found Larry Goss's music, met him, and started getting inspired by that, I knew that like something in that area was I was being led to, and I'd kind of come to the place where I realized, I'm not a great piano player. And I mean, that's not being humble. I'm not a great piano player. I'm not an Anthony Berger. I'm not a Jeff Stice or any of those guys. But I really took an interest in that. And so studying Larry's stuff, getting to meet him, when any album would come out with the groups we were around, the Hoppers had an album, Larry produced it, or Jim, Melissa, Bray, whoever it was. And I would get it and I mean, go home and have anything better to do and sit and try to learn all of his chords and how he did what he did. And that just slowly, that desire to do that morphed from the live playing to where the live playing ended up just kind of feeling like a chore. And ultimately, that's really why I left the Kingsmen, because I wanted to go to college to study specifically with Larry and Lee to do that.
Yeah.
And I obviously couldn't do that and travel at the same time.
Right.
That was why I left in 11, was to go enroll at Lee, and I went that semester. Of course, that was the semester when Larry was having his cancer.
Right.
He wasn't actually able to teach, and then I just called him directly and said, "Would you work with me?" And
Yeah.
he had to think about it for a little while,
Really? Okay.
because he had kind of stopped doing that, but for some reason he agreed to do it. So I went and hung out with him, and at that point, I knew that's now I didn't really imagine that I'd get to do it, but that's what I wanted to do,
Yeah.
Right.
and it just slowly started taking off from there. And I'm really busy now, busier than I ever thought I would be.
Well, that's wonderful. Seriously.
Yes.
Well, any advice? Do you have any advice you'd give to like young musicians who are maybe wanting to get in the studio aspect of it, or producing, or just playing music? Any advice you'd give the
Yeah,
young
it's all
musicians?
about being around the right people, and having the right connections. I mean, if I hadn't had Larry, who knows where I would be. I can point back to numerous people in my life that
Yeah.
are still in my life that played pivotal roles, because I knew them or met them I was in the right place at the right time, which was,
Right.
I mean, God does that. It wasn't a
Yeah.
coincidence. But make a connection. If you have an opportunity to go to a session, go to a session.
Yeah.
If a quartet says, "Hey, come on the bus with us," go on the bus.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. True.
Just get to know people and take every opportunity that God will throw at you, and He
Yeah.
will if you ask for, and sometimes even when you're not asking for.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's right. That's right. Cody, here's a new question. We're going to sneak in on the podcast. Do you have a hidden talent that any Southern gospel music fan doesn't know about that you would like to share?
Well, I'm actually a somewhat good cook.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't used to be, but as I came off the road and got married, I just started cooking at home and discovered I liked it, and so I studied and get books and watch videos.
Oh,
So
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
no, I don't do like bacon and cakes and cookies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not like that. Good old home cooking Southern
Yeah.
meals, but I guess that's probably my hidden talent.
That's pretty
Good deal.
cool.
Yeah.
I remember a few times did you bring some kind of little grill on the bus and make food every now and then?
I bet. Oh, that's right. I think I did. They had a little charcoal
Yeah.
grill thing, and I forget how I got it or why I got it. And I think I'd maybe gotten like frozen hamburgers and kept them in the
Yeah.
refrigerator on the bus.
I remember you coming up there with your West Virginia pants pulled all the way up to your
up. Yeah.
chest, and you standing there in your pajama bottoms.
Yeah. There's a photo of that.
There is a
somewhere.
photo of that.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe Harold Reed probably
Yeah.
has a copy of that somewhere.
Oh, I have no doubt.
Well, let me ask you real quick. We got a couple more questions. We're getting close to time, but you and I have mentioned Phil Hughes several times on the podcast tonight, and to me, Phil was not only a great singer but a great guy. But do you have any maybe even a funny story or just something about Phil? Phil passed in January 2024.
Has it been that long? I mean,
Yeah.
it seems like it was just yesterday. Yeah, I mean, I'm still having trouble
Yeah.
with that. He called me, and it probably wasn't long before he passed. I think I had done some orchestration for Real Truth Revival, and he called one day and just talked, and it was the only reason he called was to encourage.
Yeah.
How great it was, how proud of me and nobody had ever done that. I mean,
Wow.
but I didn't really, I wasn't always great about staying in touch with everybody. And I hadn't talked to Phil and, outside of our group text we had going, I hadn't talked on the phone in probably years.
Yeah.
He just one day called to encourage me, and that wasn't long before he passed.
Yeah.
But he was always the level head because, me, you, Harold, we could have a temper and we could, And Phil was always the level head, and he could always inject humor into any situation.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
And just kind of diffuse it.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
rock steady guy. I don't remember seeing him mad.
Yeah. Yeah. He was one of those guys that, and I think the first word you really used was encourager. He was a really encourager, and he was that to everybody we've talked to, and every person we've asked, even guys outside of the Kingsmen, guys that he used to travel with in his Anchorman days and things like that. Phil was such an encourager to everybody, and he's sorely missed.
One thing I remember, and I probably hadn't thought about it until now, but I remember learning from him, or at least him planting the seed, the importance of family.
Yeah.
Because being young, it wasn't something that I really thought about.
Yeah.
And his whole, because I was about career and the next thing and getting the big job and having to see that was all I was focused on. And Phil was never that. I mean, he was an incredible talent.
Yeah.
But he was not that guy that's just trying to get to the next big thing.
Yeah.
He was content where God put him.
Yeah.
And he was content with his family. Something would happen on the road or whatever. And his answer would be, well, look, Starla and the kids,
Yeah.
I got this. I'm fine.
Yeah.
That don't matter.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
And that was kind of eye-opening for me. And that didn't really register until later on when I had my own family.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the seed. And I remember, so I think of that often and remember that, when something weird's happening in the career, or it feels like the work's not coming in, or somebody's not happy, or I didn't get a call, remembering what it's really about. And Phil was really great at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a wonderful friend for sure.
Yeah.
Wonderful friend. Well, I have a story about Cody McVey that I want to share on the podcast. So we were in Kentucky. It was a Sunday afternoon at a Church of God. And before I tell the story, a lot of quartets, a lot of Southern gospel groups will have inside jokes on the bus. We said multiple times tonight, to keep things light, and we had jokes on the bus that nobody else got, nobody else understood. And for us, it was, where's so-and-so? Well, he's out smoking. And, it was a total joke. It was total joke. We'd be gathered back in the room we're going to pray with the pastor and all the deacons, and right before the concert starts, and you guys got somebody missing? Oh, he's out smoking. And then everybody laughs. It was a big joke. So we're at this church. That being setting it up, we're at this Church of God in Eastern Kentucky one afternoon. We had done a few songs, and you had played the offertory. You played the song. You played a song for the offering, and then Harold Reed and myself we're gonna start the product pitch. We're gonna start our commercial. And for some reason, you waited about a minute before you got up from the piano to go get a drink of water or something. And the piano, when you were there, you were sitting on Harold's side. Normally, the piano would be on the bass singer side, but you were sitting on Harold's side, and I was right next to Harold.
Yeah.
We were, he was holding up the piece of product, the CD or whatever, and I was talking about it, and then he grabbed the next piece. So we're into the product pitch, and then a minute after you had played this song, then you decide to stand up. Well, when you stood up, I mean, you're right there. You're like 5 feet from me, and it kind of caught me off guard. And so I looked and I said, "Boy, where are you going?" And you didn't say anything. You just went. You did the motion as you were smoking. For people who can't see it, that's what I'm doing. You did this, and I mean, not a single person laughed. I almost swallowed my gum. It caught me off guard. And so all these Church of God people have just seen you do this on the stage. And I hear behind me, I hear Ray Dean, Cody.
I remember that.
So you start walking off the platform, and I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, nobody smokes on our bus. That was a total joke. Nobody smoked. He was totally kidding, and I was like stammering over my words, thinking I'm trying to explain it, and it's not. It's my brain's
not
working
respiratory.
faster than my mouth.
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, I thought they were going to bust out laughing.
Yeah.
So I see you walk off, you walk down the side aisle, and as you go toward the restroom, I think there's a water fountain back there. I see Brandon Reese come from the soundboard, and I could tell you were getting chewed out pretty good. I could tell you were getting chewed out pretty good. But,
oh man.
I thought, oh no. And but the funniest part was Ray was Cody. And I'm trying to explain.
Which I remember now that you say that, him saying that quite often. Because I was always trying to be funny, and most of the time was not.
Yeah,
and would take it a little too far.
Yeah,
insulting or whatever, and he'd go, Cody. Always try to reel me back in.
Yeah, but those good times. That little smoking story. I was thinking today. I said, I got to tell that, because that's one of the funniest. And I've told that after I come off the road with the Kingsmen. I've told that 100 times to different people. I said, you got to hear about this Cody and the smoking story. I'm up there.
Forgotten.
I mean, I'm trying to explain it to the people, these Church of God people who, this particular church, they were very strict on things. And nobody smokes on our bus. I mean, we're just trying to.
Oh man,
those are funny time for sure. So
yeah. Oh goodness, that was great. Well, Cody, we appreciate you coming on tonight and being with us. We're proud of what you're doing, and
I'm
seeing you
honored
doing
I can do it.
big things, in this genre of music as well. And I'll say it, just pure smart to do what you're doing. I mean, that's, me playing bass guitar at church and knowing a little bit about the Nashville number system. But what you take that and you just blow it up and make it bigger. That's just incredible. I appreciate that. And that's just great stuff.
I have fun with it.
Yeah, that's cool. That is very cool. Yes, sir. Well, everybody, we appreciate y'all joining us again on this episode of Behind the Crown podcast with our special guest, Cody McVey. Brian, it was another great episode, and we appreciate Cody so much doing this with us tonight and honoring his time with the Kingsmen, and just a great piano player. And appreciate you, Cody, for always being nice to me on the road with the Kingsmen.
Well, I'll say this. I'm going to add this. I was thinking about this earlier when you sent me the email about this. First I thought, well, Josh was the biggest Kingsman fan, but then I thought, no, biggest fan and best fan are not the same thing.
That's true.
Because the biggest fans could be insane, right?
Yeah.
And creepy.
Yeah.
And all up in your business, and you see them coming a mile away and you want to hide because they were going to make you so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Josh was the best fan.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It was always, any concert we went to or whatever it was, seeing Josh was always a good thing.
Yeah.
He was always fun to be around. And that was, there wasn't a lot of those at that time
that's true.
Would show up concert to concert and you're glad to see him. So,
yeah. I agree with that.
I appreciate that. And
not the biggest fan, but the best fan.
I agree with that.
Send me that invoice in the email while I pay you. Yeah. Because you'll need it for sure for that. I do appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you. Y'all just always been so kind to me. I appreciate it so much. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Well, Cody, thank you for joining us, man. And we might have you back again sometime.
Yeah.
We'll share some more road stories.
Yes,
sounds good. Well, thank you for having me. Been fun.
Thank y'all, everybody. Join us next week as we travel down the Glory Road again to reliving some old Kingsman memories and some great stories with another future guest. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Behind the Crown podcast with your hosts, Brian Hudson and Josh Griffin. If you would, please like, rate, and share this episode. Join us again for another episode of the Behind the Crown podcast.